Suzette, Miss S, or Suzanne?
You can say Suzette. I don't care.
Hello, welcome to Generation Mingle. My name is Bea, I'm your host. And after a short break, because of the holiday season, we are back in full on. Today I have a wonderful guest, Miss Suzette.
Hi.
And we invited her since she has been a fan of ours now for a while. So I suggested let's go invite fans to our podcast. She's made several comments that have been very interesting, a little bit undercover, not releasing her full name, but I'm looking really forward today that she's bringing something solid to the table. Please let us know, what is your generation? X, boomer? What
I am a Generation X.
Yes, my kind of a girl. So today's topic will be a little bit, again, different and a little bit edgy. We will be talking about New Year's resolution. And I have spent some time with Gen Z, and I have seen that revolution currently, that for some reason those kids deciding to have, I think it's second year right now, to have like the January non-alcoholic month. And I'm not sure if you have noticed that, but I dig a little bit deeper and I have recognized that seriously that the younger kids drink less or just on the weekends. I don't know if you have read anything about this or...
I've seen it. I have two stepchildren.
Okay.
And they are in their early 20s. So it is very interesting because I do notice that alcohol doesn't play as big of a part of their generation as it did kind of in our generation. They don't seem to use alcohol more as a crutch.
Right.
It's more of a social type atmosphere for them.
Right.
Where I think in our generation, like that was the big thing. Like everybody wanted to get together and drink as much alcohol as they could till they got drunk, passed out.
Right, the boxes of Budweiser, whatever, boxes of wine.
Yes.
Just grabbing a bottle from the cabinet of the parents, right? Just let's go do something.
For sure.
Friday,
for sure.
Immediately, right? Yeah, remember those. But you know what? I have tried to learn a little bit about all of that because this is just other observation, but it's good to look to some statistic and some studies, right? So I went back and researched a couple of journals, medical journals, and to check some statistics and different studies to make sure that we actually have some knowledge, right? So I'm gonna just pointed out a couple of things, okay? I have found out that the statistics say telling us that Gen Z drinking less overall. 27% of legal age adults in Gen Z drink less than average person. Okay, 27%. Millennials, that has been born in 1981 and 1996, are heavier drinkers, but still account of spending less money than the Gen X or the Gen Z, the boomers, on alcohol. Where we're going to the boomers, this is actually the most frequent drinker. Almost every day, okay, they drink, and they have higher rates of alcohol abuse and alcohol disorder, which is also, as you know, and I have learned, with, you know, different illness and cancers and, you know, jaundice and liver failure and so are in this particular generation, okay? So the process, what I have read, let me read that, guys. The process of the young adults under 35 who drink has dropped significantly over the past 2 decades, according to Gallup News, okay? So I was wondering, what is this all about? And then I realized, wait a minute. As a boomer, my parents didn't have access to internet and quick Wikipedia or the Google, right? They didn't do that. Gen X, I don't know if we really even care to do that too. We kind of just met that internet somewhere in the middle. But millennials and Gen Z have access to the media.
For sure, yeah.
And I think that just quick video, YouTube or whatever it's called, the TikToks, whatever you guys watching, right? all the respect to the younger generation, I think that this is exactly what have brought up for that younger generation that information that alcohol is not all about all fun.
Right.
That there are some difficulties that you could approach as you're aging, as health issues, right? So I don't know. What do you think? I mean, for your auto generation, if we're participating in
yes,
that knowledge, if we dig in, did you ever open a book and went to the library and discover, oh, is alcohol bad for me?
No, because I mean that was one of the things is that, you know, the only thing I ever really saw with alcohol in, you know, my younger years of being a teenager or in my 20s
Right.
was the fact that, yeah, it was just about having a good time with your friends,
Right.
unless you happen to hear about somebody being an alcoholic and then they needed the alcohol. And that's pretty much really the only information we ever knew
Right.
about.
Amazing point, because guess what? In my mind, when I was younger, I never discovered what is even alcoholic. Didn't cross even my mind.
Right.
Although when we have a drink, we have been concerned about to not get caught
Right.
by the parents.
Right.
Okay. And to not drive drunk.
Right.
And if we did, to not get caught.
Right.
That we have one more drink and we drove somewhere down the street, right? But to think about alcoholism and the consequences, what that could do to our body, that was not even a topic
No,
from the
never.
minute. Never, ever,
Never.
ever, right? Quite interesting. Because everybody was talking to me growing up how cigarettes are bad, but
Right.
nobody was saying that alcohol
Yeah,
is
no,
bad.
it is very true because I don't recall. Yeah, I mean, I recall people smoking, and that was a no-no.
Right.
But yes, alcohol, like that seemed to be okay for everybody to do, and nobody ever mentioned
Right.
the bad effects of alcohol except for the hangover the next
Right.
day.
Do you recall that as well, the study that has been done by, I'm going to say in just a minute, but which industry? But the study that was telling us, oh, to have a glass of wine with the dinner is actually good for you, for your blood pressure.
Exactly.
Really?
Yes.
Drinking a poison, it's good for you every day?
Right.
Amazing, right?
Yes.
Now, what we know now, right? But before that, that's what it was. Guess what I discovered? That study actually has been financed by the alcohol industry.
Oh,
Yes,
interesting.
yeah, surprisingly, right? So anyway, but this is where we're coming with auto generation. But rounding this up, I received a letter actually from someone young, so I want to read that, okay? Listen to this. Generation Mingle. I am a millennial and a little Gen Z generation. This year, my New Year's resolution isn't about quitting alcohol completely. It is about being honest with myself. I don't drink every day. When I do, it is usually social. Birthdays, dinners, friends, nights out. Still, I have started noticing how much pressure there it is to drink just to fit in. Sometimes I drink because everyone is, not because I actually want to. That awareness didn't come out of nowhere. I grew up watching my parents drink every day. Afternoon cocktails. Sounds familiar. My mom making a drink for my dad the moment he came in from work, like a clockwork. That was their thing. That was how they relaxed together. They didn't talk much. Drinking filled the space. The main focus was me, my education, my sports, my future, and I don't doubt they love. But as a kid, I was watching all of it. I was learning what normal looked like, even if no one ever said it out loud. Now I'm older and I see the same patterns trying to repeat themselves in my own life. I love my partner deeply. When he has one or two beers after work, he's more relaxed before bed. And sometimes I catch myself thinking, this is fine, this is normal, at least the evening will be peaceful today. But then I stop and ask myself, is this actually what I want? Or is this just what I was taught? Because I have seen where that road can lead. One of my parents was diagnosed with cancer, and I truly believe alcohol played a major role. There was no saving them. I lost my parents, sorry guys. And once you see that up close, you can't unsee. It changed how you think about just a drink. and what it costs over time. So in 2026, I want to choose intentionally some nights that I make mean a drink, other nights means I make cocktail or are going home early without explaining myself. I want my mental and physical health to come first, even if that looks boring or are confusing to other people. I don't want to repeat the patterns I grew up with. I want to build a different kind of life, more present one, a more conscious one. For me, this resolution isn't about extremes or levels. It is about balance, and it is about listening to myself. Finally, Eva. What do you think?
Oh my God, I love that letter.
Right? It's just so refreshing.
It is so refreshing.
I would never analyze my parents if that would be my situation, right? To seeing that. But isn't that exactly what we lived through? Seeing our parents and our family member, the moment they walked in home, walked to the fridge, opened the beer, pum, oh, what a day.
Right.
Right? Let's go relax.
Right.
So just tell me if you have any special event that you could relate to that yourself.
Well, I kind of have a different situation because my parents didn't really drink growing up. Okay. My parents were more, they were into church. So they really didn't, my parents drank sociably versus drank on a regular occasion. Okay. So very rarely was there alcohol in our house. Okay. However, there was alcohol in the house sometimes, and that is funny because yes, as kids, we always would try to go sneak it. Right. But I would say as a teenager though, because I came from a home that didn't drink a lot, it wasn't a big, I don't know what word I want to use. Like I didn't feel the need to have to drink all the time, right? See? But I had lots of friends, and because that's how their families were, that I think alcohol was a norm in their family. So they carried on that same.
So that letter speaks up for it, right?
Totally, totally.
Yeah. So I have friends as well like that who hasn't been drinking in my house as well. Was just really, I don't know, some celebration. Right. I have seen alcohol. But I have noticed that people just stuck into it. Oh, hold on. I have a comment. Hold on. Let me see. Okay. Here's a comment from David. Hold on, guys. Here we go. The bottom line is this. If you think that having a drink is relaxing, it is just a short illusion of happiness because you do not even know what it is. So many times if we drink, we speak so that others who are sober think that we are aggressive and absolutely out of control. It is not attractive anymore and disheartening because a possibly good relationship is about to end. Isn't that true?
It is. Right? It is very true.
If you sober, David, you just absolutely, what do we say here in United States? The nail into the coffin on that topic. Yep. If someone is completely sober and doesn't drink, again, doesn't mean that you're a bad person, but participating and being next to someone that is intoxicated or affected in the alcohol, that person is not attractive to you. You cannot have rational conversation.
Well, and that's the thing. People don't realize that how much alcohol changes your personality when you drink. Right. I particularly know a couple people that they're the nicest people when they're sober. Right. But when they're drinking, they're a totally different person. Right. And, the saying always used to be that when people were drunk, that was like a true serum. Right. Like people didn't lie when they were drunk, you know? Right. And so then that thought process would cross my mind. Like, so is this really who this person is?
Exactly my point. Can you imagine when you suddenly stop drinking and you're observing your surroundings and your so-called friends or the people that you know, because I have learned to suddenly decide as my colleagues, other people that I know, I stopped to use the friend's name because we got so used to it, friends. But when you stop drinking or that drinking less or that day you not drink and you have somebody being intoxicated, you look in them from outside and think, oh my gosh, the behavior, the acting, the comments, this this is something that it's not really, I cannot relate to. But when you have that drink, you're just having blast with that person. Because you're on the same level.
It
Lose.
is.
You don't think in too deep, right? Oh, hold on. I have a Cassie here. Hold on. Oh, Cassie, here we go. Cassie, I'm so troubled with my sister. Ooh, I love her very much, but the drinking is every dinner I come to see her. She is drinking every day and likes to invite anyone to her dinners. The more the merrier. The bottom line is this. It's not my business, but when I told her that I'm quitting alcohol, she was making fun of me, saying that I become snobby and rejecting her company, which is not true at all. I will continue to visit her and attend dinners that she preps. I really think that she needs me only as a party buddy or a drinking buddy. How sad. I just want to be healthy.
Wow, that's really good.
Right? Cassie, I think that it's very often, Cassie, that we can have that situation that someone likes your company and likes to invite you and have a drink with you or two, but it's very difficult to tell them, to not to drink. But I can imagine myself in that position that suddenly I am with someone and feel like they just inviting me because they want to have a drink with me, and at the same time telling me that I'm silly not to drink and acting snobby. That's kind of a really difficult position. Anyway, guys, I just want to say this, however you decide to drink now, stop to drinking now or later, go to AA meeting or talk to a doctor, right? Or go in a spiritual route, speak as, she's coming from a very religious family. Doesn't matter when and how you decide to change your lifestyle. You're free to decide, okay? Alcohol, drinking or not. It's a free country, as we say. Nobody can tell you what to do. But I believe that health, it is important. We can learn a lot from the millennials and from the Gen Z. That alcohol, yes, destroying our bodies. Yes, it is a cause of cancer and liver disease and everything else. But just keep in mind that is your personal decision. I think that is quite awakening to Gen X and Boomers, that the Gen Z do what they do and they speak about this to let us know. I have a response from someone that is actually Gen X, but I need to check with my IT person if we still have a time to do that. Do we still have a time to do that?
We're at 18 minutes.
So let me read that. It's quite long, but I think it's gonna be good. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Hi, Gen M. I am Gen X, and when I heard the Gen Z letter about watching parents drink every day, it hit harder than I expected, just like us. Because the truth is, many of us didn't think we were teaching anything at all, right? We never watched. We didn't think about this, how the kids, if the kids watching us, what we're doing, what we're saying, but they're just sucking up like sponges. We thought we were unwinding. We thought we were surviving long work days, stress, responsibility. A drink after work felt harmless, routine, deserved, right? We deserve it after so many hours of work. We didn't see it as a silence. We saw it peace. We didn't see it as avoidance. We saw as connection. You're right, absolutely. What we didn't realize was that someone was always watching our children. We talk about school, sports, grades, the future, because that felt responsible. We didn't talk about how we coped, how alcohol filled the quiet, how it replaced conversation. Very often just the quiet time, right? Yes. Why are we talking about anything? No worries, we already did that through the day, right? You're so right, whoever you are, thank you for that. How it slowly became the centerpiece instead of just the background. Right? Everyday drink can get you to dependence. Hearing a younger generation name that out loud is uncomfortable, but it is also fair. Many of us were raised by parents who drank the same way or more, and we told ourselves at least we're better than they were. We didn't question the pattern, because questioning it means question ourselves.
Yep.
So true to human beings, right? Well said.
Yes.
Cancer, liver disease, burnout, loss. Those consequences didn't feel connected at that time until suddenly they were there. So when Gen Z says, I don't want to live like this, it don't feel like judgment to me anymore. It feels like evolution. Like someone finally interrupting a cycle that went on examined for so many decades. Thank you, Gen Z, for mentioning that. Your viewer, Tom. Oh my gosh,
That's
he just
awesome.
said it what we were thinking, right?
Yes.
And need to be said, and we have discussed that with Suzette before, right?
Yes.
About all this illness, disconnections.
Yes.
Right. And remember, Suzette just told me about something interesting. We always think that alcohol relaxes, but
Right.
actually just sedate us.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And you said something about sedate us only for the 20 minutes for the first drink.
Right.
And what do we need to do after 20 minutes?
Drink more.
Have another one,
Yep.
right? And what's happened next day?
You're hungover.
You
You
hang
feel
up.
terrible.
Right. And we don't want to admit it, right?
Yeah.
So continue the drinking, just sedate you, and whatever the problems are, right? If they are mental, physical problems, work problems, relationship problems, they do not
Right.
go away.
Yeah.
They just stop after with each
Yeah.
other.
Because I think a lot of people use it sometimes as to check out.
Right.
And so what they don't realize that when you're checking out, then that's when you start creating the problem, is because you're not addressing the issue of what you're checking out from.
But remember that comment from, I think it was Cassie, sorry if I
Yes.
forgot your name, sweetheart, that comment about that she is invited to those dinners
Yes.
and, because of the party body. But it's the same thing when you go to restaurant and
Yes.
you don't want to drink, you just want to have a Coke or a water or the sparkling water, and the waiter come in and says, would you like to have a glass of wine? And then
Right.
immediately, yeah, sure, I have a glass of wine. Why? I just said that.
Or
Right.
it's the people you're with.
Exactly.
Like,
Oh,
well,
why
why
don't
are
you-
you not drinking?
Yeah,
You know?
Yes. What's the problem? Just one glass of wine, you're gonna take your Uber home.
Right.
No big deal. But it is a big deal.
It is.
It is a big deal because after we read everything and discussed earlier, alcohol is pure sugar. It's not healthy. It's a substance that is poisonous to us. It's provoke the cancer to be awakened. Right.
Yes.
There's no escape from that, and all the studies will say that. So I believe that is unnecessary, but I'm just a little different. I admitted early on one of our podcasts that I have been diagnosed with cancer, and has been doing well for me. But I quit sugar completely, and definitely I will not have the alcoholic drink because this is the most amount of sugar in my body. And sometimes I wonder, when you have family member or a friend and you know that they have been diagnosed with cancer, or you know that they are way over 60, why would you suggest to them to have a drink?
Right.
If they necessarily want, this is the decision, then they will ask, can I have a glass of wine? But why would you immediately, hey, have a drink with me? I would never do that to anyone over that age because I would feel so guilty. I will be worried and concerned
Right.
about your health. And yes, maybe a little bit overprotective of a human generally because I have been diagnosed with cancer. I have seen many patients, and we have a friends as well
Right.
ourselves that have been diagnosed with cancer. So we would like to prevent all of that. Again, the decision is to all of us to make. We all are adults, and we have to figure it out what is most important to us. Guys, we almost running out of time, but I'm sorry. I have Julianne online, and she has a comment. She's after 50 years old. Okay, let's go listen to that. After 50, we all will have those signs sooner or later. I just said that. It looks like so many of us use alcohol as solution to our minds to have to handle all the life things during the day. So the alcohol sedates you to help cope with your mind after work, which was so preoccupied all day. If you stop drinking, it gets even harder because now you are not sedated anymore and literally kicked in. Is that eventually the amount you consume need to be increased? Yes, to sedate you even more because you cannot stop. thinking how I work in this day through, how I will survive the rest of the evening. Okay, you guys are absolutely right. One drink for me, it is last only for 20 minutes. I am limiting my ability to see who the true friends really are, and truly how is my relationship right now with my spouse, with my kids, or other people that I know that possibly taking sometimes advantage of me when I'm drinking with them. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, we just wrap this up, right? So I need to completely agree with her. Okay,
Yes.
that sometimes it's hard to admit that the happiness that you have is not really the true happiness. That you have to have that drink to realize, oh, is everything hunky dory, and put something under the rock, right, to cover up with that one drink. Definitely, what do you think? To have a drink every dinner, it's just like taking medications, right?
Yeah.
Pain medications every day. It's very similar to me.
I mean, my personal opinion with alcohol is if you want to drink, of course, that's completely your decision to do so. But I
Right.
think that in everything, I think in our first letter, they mentioned balance, and
Right.
balance is the most important part.
Right.
But the one thing I would definitely recommend to people is that when you decide that you're going to drink, do it when you're already happy, because it's going to be a different outcome for you as you drink.
It's interesting that you said that, because guess what? We're drinking when we're happy. We're drinking when we're not happy.
Right.
We're drinking when we're exhausted.
Right.
We're drinking when we're not exhausted because it's Saturday afternoon.
Right.
We're drinking when we not make the deal.
Right.
Somebody personally with some company.
Right.
And we're celebrating when we make that deal.
Right.
Right? We're drinking when
Right.
somebody passed away. We're drinking when somebody is born. When somebody has a birthday. We're drinking because somebody goes to the hospital.
Right.
My goodness.
It's a part of everyday life, and so it
Yeah.
is. It's very difficult
Right.
for people who choose not to do it.
Exactly, my point. And I am the one that I'm surrounded by people that like to have a drink, and I'm the one that sits now across the table and sometimes looking at their behavior. I'm just like, yikes. How I have not seen that before, but this is clear right
Yeah.
now after also reading all of that. But guys, here's something, my kind of a wrap-up statement, okay? By drinking alcohol, you are not going to win against that predator, right?
For sure.
You cannot win. You are not able to run away from problems, that's for sure. They're just gonna be bigger by each drink. That will accelerate for you, okay? And whatever you have been spoken about, the skills and the illness, and so is all of that is backed up by New England Medical Journal that we have been both read and analyzed what's going on. But I just want to give the kudos to millennials and Gen Z
Yes.
that they're exploring. That is the new thing, that January is the alcohol free, and hopefully will be more than just January, because especially also the message for Gen X and for the boomers, guys, life is too short. If you postpone and just talk about this, that you want to I should quit drinking, and just talk about it's not going to happen. So before you get any kind of diagnosis, before you think I'm too old, if you're 50, 60, 70, whatever you're at, 80 years old, keep in mind the time is ticking. So to enjoy your life and clarity,
Yes.
right? And in health, you have to eliminate things, and it's not only the cigarettes.
Right.
Okay. So Suzette, thank you so much for participating with us. I'm so glad you came.
Thank you for having
I
me.
hope to see you again, because I want to explore that topic a little bit more,
I would love to.
including auto addiction, okay,
Yes.
including gambling, since we're located in Las Vegas. And please, guys, remember, subscribe, put a thumbs up, okay. Thank you again, Suzette, and my regular message, guys, to you, okay. Remember to keep your music loud, your Wi-Fi strong, okay, and the conversation just loud enough, and keep going and keep on mingling.